Are you secure?
Chances are, with your lagna lord in the 4th house, security, both physical and emotional, will play an important role in your life.
Welcome back to our channel, Atma Occult. Today we will be covering some of our observations for anyone with their lagna lord placed in the 4th house of their astrological birth chart. Make sure you watch all the way to the end to see our tips of how you can take the most advantage of this astrological placement.
This video will apply to you if the lord of your ascendant sign goes to the 4th house from the ascendant, or the lord of your moon sign goes to the 4th house from the moon.
Remember, in Vedic astrology, the lagna or ascendant lord is a pivotal planet that represents the self, vitality, and your overall life path.
When the lagna lord is placed in the 4th house, it influences the native's life through the themes associated with the 4th house, such as the home and home life, mother and comfort in general, emotional security and inner happiness, and also some of the classical texts on Vedic astrology describe the 4th house as Sukha Bhava. That's the Sanskrit name for the 4th house, or one of the Sanskrit names. And Sukha actually means happiness or contentment. The 4th house also represents property, clothing, and vehicles.
So with any lagna lord placement, there are some general positives and negatives without, of course, knowing the entire birth chart and all the placements. One positive that we have seen is that there is usually a strong emotional foundation and happiness at home. So the lagna lord in the 4th house often indicates an individual who finds comfort and stability in their home environment. They're likely to have a nurturing and supportive relationship with their mother or their family, especially when growing up in their younger years. Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra actually states that if the ascendant lord is in the 4th house, the native will be endowed with maternal and paternal happiness. So with your lagna lord placed in the Sukha Bhava, or the house of contentment, you may enjoy a deep feeling of inner peace. Of course, if the lagna lord is in good condition here.
So another positive trait we can see happening as a result of this placement is success in fixed asset related businesses. Since the 4th house is associated with fixed assets like land, houses, and vehicles, the lagna lord's placement here can bless this person with opportunities to acquire property or succeed in businesses related to cars or real estate. In fact, some commentaries on the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra also state, quote, "He will prosper by his own efforts," because the 4th house is the 2nd from the 3rd. So the 3rd house being the house of self-efforts, and then the 2nd house being the gains of that. So the gain of your self-efforts is the 4th house. So lagna lord being in the 4th house signifies that you can gain a lot from exerting self-efforts.
Right.
So in every case that the lagna lord is placed in the 4th house, a Raj Yoga will be formed, since the lagna lord is the lord of a trine, the ascendant, placed in a Kendra, the 4th house. This gives a person an elevated status in the areas of life that the 4th house represents. So there is a strong chance for this person to own desirable homes or vehicles.
Another positive trait with this placement is these people typically have a grounded personality. So with a lagna lord in the 4th house, the person tends to be grounded, as the 4th house, being the direct opposite of the 10th house, represents the lowest point beneath earth, or in other words, what is under our feet. You value security, And you may prioritize creating a harmonious and peaceful environment around you. And if the lagna lord is well placed, you may display a high degree of emotional intelligence and empathy.
This placement can also give a strong potential for spiritual growth. The fourth house is also a subtle indicator of the heart or the inner world. This is referred to in Sanskrit as the hridaya. A strong lagna lord here can enhance spiritual inclinations, leading you toward introspection and emotional wisdom. In fact, the fourth house is also considered one of the moksha houses, or the houses oriented towards the liberation of the soul from the cycle of birth and death. A strong Mercury as the lagna lord in the fourth house may give someone the ability to learn about spiritual subjects easily, and this position is said to produce talented astrologers.
So here are some of the negatives that we have observed with the placement of lagna lord in the fourth house. One that we have noticed is there can be an over-attachment to the home or mother. The native may become overly dependent on their family, specifically the mother, or their home environment. Remember, the third house of adventure and risk-taking is the 12th from the 4th, meaning it's the loss of your mother or comfort zone.
So if the lagna lord is in the fourth house and a person's relationship with their mother becomes so important, it might lead to them not really being as oriented to those third house activities of going out of the comfort zone, of going out and being really adventurous, because it kind of hurts the mother. And so then we can get a psychological outcome from that.
Right, and then that could lead to an attachment to, like we said, one's comfort zone, or literally being a mama's boy.
So one of the other negatives that we can sometimes see with this placement is emotional sensitivity or instability. An afflicted lagna lord in the fourth house can make someone overly sensitive or prone to mood swings. The fourth house represents security, and afflictions or malefic influence indicate insecurity. Remember how we said a good fourth house can give a person emotional intelligence and empathy. Afflictions here create the opposite, a lack of empathy. So, what happens if someone is highly insecure, lacks empathy, and has mood issues? This is where a severely afflicted fourth house can be one of the factors involved in antisocial personality disorders like narcissism.
So the last negative possibility with this placement is there could be some challenges with property or assets. So just as we said that there could be an abundance of properties or assets if the lagna lord is well placed, if it's not well placed, the native could face issues related to their property, such as disputes over land, financial losses in real estate, or difficulties keeping a stable home, and that could be literally or figuratively. There could also be delays in acquiring property. For example, if Saturn's involved, which of course delays everything. Saturn's the planet of delay. There could be challenges in maintaining domestic harmony if Mars is involved, because Mars is aggression.
So now that we know what some of the potential positives and negatives are of this placement, when are these effects most likely to be experienced? Since this is pertaining to your lagna lord, the effects of this placement, whether they're positive or negative, will be a theme throughout your whole life. However, they'll tend to become more prominent during the dasha or the antardasha, the major planetary period or sub-period of the planet, which is your lagna lord.
Another thing to take into consideration is the sign placement. The sign in which the lagna lord sits, so if it's friendly, exalted, or debilitated, also shapes its expression. So for a Gemini lagna person, Mercury will be exalted in the sign of Virgo in the 4th house. But for an Aries, Mars will get debilitated in the sign of Cancer in the 4th house.
So what are our tips to maximize the potential positives and mitigate the potential negatives of this placement? One is to pursue careers related to real estate or other fixed assets. Your Lagna Lord forming a Raj Yoga in the 4th house will give you an ability to find success in these areas more easily than others. Our second tip is to move past material comforts. While this placement can give you all the luxury and comfort in the world, the fact that it's also a moksha house indicates a need to eventually let go of attachments and find deeper meaning. And our final tip to take advantage of this placement is to focus on the 12th house matters. The 12th house is the 9th house from the 4th. So engaging in 12th house related activities will increase the good fortune of 4th house matters in your life. The 12th house governs your expenses, bed pleasures, sleep, and meditation. So when you engage in one of these activities, like for example, spending money appropriately or engaging in deep meditation, it will help you mitigate any of the negative outcomes which can be related to the Lagna Lord being placed in the 4th house and amplify positive results.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please leave us a like and subscribe if you have not already, and feel free to leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you are interested in learning more about your individual birth chart, visit us at atmaoccult.com.